Hey everyone, it's Finn here from the SDGC here with my boy Justin to talk about Ghostrunner 2, the surprise sequel to one of the best surprise indie hits I've ever played.
It was the best cyberpunk game released in fall of 2020 and developed by a Polish studio.
I mean, you're not wrong. That times have changed, but yeah, that in 2020 that was very much true. Ghostrunner 2, um I'm going to call it I'm going to say it, the tagline should have been Jack is back.
Oh yeah,
It's
definitely.
definitely a wasted opportunity. But so for those that don't know, Ghost Runner was literally just like the name says. You play something called a Ghost Runner. The whole game was what if Mirror's Edge and Cyberpunk had a baby? And
It was like Mirror's Edge plus Hotline Miami gameplay wise,
yeah,
and you played as a cyborg ninja.
where one hit equaled death and you would restart and it forced you to do these incredible acrobatic runs through these enemy or platform hazard filled rooms, and when you finally got through something you felt so accomplished.
You felt like a god. Like there were entire levels that didn't have floors. There's where you're just like chaining wall jumps and attacks and stuff. It's one of the most brilliantly designed like first person platformers I think I've ever played. It was tough, but it was so fast to get back in, and like the checkpointing was
That's the
good.
key.
Yeah,
That's the key that makes this game work. If you had even a few seconds of load time between deaths, you wouldn't do it. But it's the you press a button, boom, you're back. The fact that every time you finished a room of enemies or a section of platforming, you got a checkpoint. You never felt frustrated. It was
yeah.
fantastic.
It was like one of those games where it is a very difficult game,
Yeah.
but it's in a way that like they want you to succeed. They don't want you to get upset. Um, it was the way I like difficult games to be, where I can just get right back in. I can learn the encounter.
Yep.
I can learn the section, and I can just keep practicing till I get it.
Weirdly enough, it's more Mega Man than like Dark Souls.
Yeah,
It's learning enemy patterns,
yeah.
which you know what I mean. Um, Now, so to go to Ghost Run 2, now Justin has played the demo.
Yeah, I played the demo that released on PSN about a month ago.
Correct. I got to play the full game. And so on purpose, I'm not all right. A game like this doesn't really have quote unquote spoilers. There is a much stronger emphasis on plot in this game. Uh Not to its detriment, but just they're fleshing out the world. So it picks up right after where more or less right after where the first game ended, where you've defeated the keymaster and the architect, and you've more or less liberated the tower. But now,
But now you got to clean up the tower.
correct, because power vacuums have appeared and there's all kinds of factions, and you're working with one of the factions to kind of unite the tower and get everyone back on track. But what really matters is that the game takes everything Ghost Runner 1 does, ports it over to Ghost Runner 2, and then makes every aspect of it seem even more refined. Like, just to test out this theory, I went back halfway through to go back to Ghost Runner 1, and I was like, wow, Ghost Runner 1 is still really fun, but you can immediately feel how Ghost Runner 2 is an evolution and an upgrade in all regards.
I mean, I could tell just from, starting the demo, just a handful of stuff that was moved over and the, couple extra additions that were in the demo just felt really good and just had that little bit extra polish to them and flowed so well and fit within like the tool set that you had in the first game and just expanded it. And it, like I was very impressed with that just from the demo. So I imagine, the final game goes even farther.
And I'm gonna say, like, even if you never played the first one, there's no barrier to entry.
Yeah, no,
Like, just jump into two.
yeah, the first game, like, there was a story, but, like, if you're familiar with cyberpunk media at all, you know what the story is.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, the story is well told. The voice acting is solid, but you're not playing Ghost Runner because of the plot. Now, Ghost Runner 2 is trying to make its plot more meaningful. Like in between series of platforming sections, you'll be brought back to like a hub area
Oh,
where
cool.
you will talk to important NPCs, get more lore, and your next like quest. There's now an area where you can dedicate, upgrade your character. Like, you'll find one of the coolest things this one does is in part one, you had to install the chip to see hidden items around the area.
Yeah,
This,
yeah.
it's just built into it. And so not only do you find like items and new sword skins and stuff like that, but you'll also find like RAM upgrades or motherboard upgrades
Oh, cool.
that then expand your ability to slot in
Yeah,
your
because does it still
upgrades.
do the upgrade? How
It
the
does.
upgrades worked in the first game? Like you kind of had to Tetris your
So
upgrades.
that's not the case
Okay.
anymore. So what you do now have is you can buy you when you kill enemies or perform challenge rooms. Like there's challenge rooms now where it's like complete this obstacle course and pass through all the rings in X amount of time, and you'll get like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 like coins or credits or whatever they're gonna call it. They're calling it, and then you use that to buy the upgrade chips.
Gotcha.
And then, but that's only one part of it. Then you have your upgrade section where you have to slot in the chips. But in order to do that, you have to have enough motherboard space in your like suit to do that. And that's where the motherboard chips come in. They expand your ability to do it. And all the chips have like really cool upgrade paths where this, let's say this chip allows you to reflect bullets directly back at the source
Hmm.
instead of just in a straight line.
Yeah.
So you can do that. And then there's also like a chip that like reduces the stamina used per dash.
Okay.
So
Cool.
but then they'll say if you make this chip the last chip in its line, then it'll further increase the stamina savings. So it kind of challenges you to mix and match
Interesting.
accordingly.
Yeah.
Uh so the hub area is a big change. The other big change is the quality of life stuff. Right off the bat, you're given the shurikens. It's no longer like
Yeah.
a tool, like
Yeah.
a special ability. Um, you can also parry melee
Yeah.
attacks.
Both of those were in the demo, and I really
Yes,
appreciated both of those because like I mean the window of timing on that parry is tight,
of course.
but it at least feels like
Unless you
now it's something that you can like legitimately do to defend yourself against some of the situations where
yeah.
you just get to the point where it's like, oh
And one
no.
of the early upgrades is opening up that window for perfect parries, which is
I
nice.
figured that would definitely be one of the
But
things.
what it's oh man,
And also just having the shurikens from early on is nice just because it gives you just a little bit more flexibility in how you're able to approach situations instead of just having to rely on the sword all the time.
and speaking of how you want to approach situations, the levels in this are a lot more open ended. There's a lot more bigger areas with multiple paths you could take to chain through all the enemies. Like before, there was only really one way you could more or less go, and this one it opens it up more for you, and so you can experiment more. But
There's
it's
more improvisation and
correct.
everything.
But the tight controls, the fluid action, and the ability to immediately jump right back in when you fail is all still there, and it's fantastic.
Sorry, what version did you play again? I played the demo on PS5.
PS5.
Okay.
So we were given a graciously given a code for the PS5 version.
Okay, cool.
Um, and they must feel very good about this game because those codes went out like 3+ weeks before launch.
Nice. Just
Which is
gave you plenty of time to.
exactly. And so I do want to talk about
And it's
one
launching
thing.
in a crowded time too, so it's nice
Yes,
to give people time to actually
but
be able to play the
that's the
game.
other thing. Like the balls, the confidence to say you know the month that Spider-Man, Sonic, Mario, and all this stuff's dropping, Ghostrunner 2 as well. And you know what? And it's a testament to the quality of this game that I am not. I'm not. It belongs in that conversation. I will. This game 100% is making my top 10 list of the year. Like,
Well,
and that says a lot in
yeah,
2023.
and I remember discovering the first game because it was at PAX,
Yup.
and I was just wandering around, and I found the booth where they were, and I talked to the crew that was there, and I played the demo that they had there, and I remember coming back to the hotel room later that day and like, guys, you got to check this shit out. Like, um, it was just one of those things that just it like clicked with me immediately.
100%. So one thing that is also in the demo, but also features prevalently in the game is the new motorcycle.
The
The
motorcycle
motorcycle is
stuff.
so the demo does not even begin to comprehend how good the motorcycle sections are.
The section in the demo was like it's so fast, and like you're driving straight up walls and dodging stuff. It's such a cool addition. and just like the huge increase in speed
Yes.
is just it's just massive. Like it's such a shock to the system because like Ghostrunner is not a slow game by any means,
No.
but then they accelerate you that much.
Now, one really cool thing is that this game, right off the bat, like in the first 20-ish minutes of the game, they drop you into this incredible boss battle. There are like one-on-one boss battle duels because the main gist of the plot, and I'll only tell you like the early like opening 30 minutes stuff, involves a group of rogue ghost runners coming back into the tower to revive their leader who died somehow, and exacting trying to exact their revenge or take over the tower, whatever. Now that the keymaster's gone, and you immediately fight one of like his lieutenants, and that fight is so freaking cool.
Yeah, because there was a couple fights like that in the first game, but one of my major criticisms with the first game was the boss fights. Um,
Do you count the tower as a boss fight?
yeah, I do.
That
That was that everybody agrees that that was the worst part of that, that game. It's like a pseudo platforming challenge slash like boss thing.
but you felt so good when you did
It
it.
felt good when you finally finished it, but it was so goddamn hard, and it went on for a long time. But there were a couple like one-on-one fights, like with Hell, that were
Yeah,
really cool. And Hell's actually the DLC
DLC.
character from
Yep.
the first game. So that's cool that they decided to focus more up on that, especially probably with the parry and stuff. Those get really
Yup.
fun.
The parry system and the blocking system as a whole, just having the ability to block. Um, and so it becomes a dance, right? Like you have a set stamina bar, and that stamina bar is used for your shuriken projectiles. It's used for your dodge. It's used for your block. So what do you want to spend your stamina on? Because once that stamina is out, you pretty much guaranteed a death. So it gets really cool really fast.
Nice.
So, any questions from you as someone that's played the demo and is a fan of the first one that you want to talk about the second one?
So you mentioned the hub world. I love I love a good hub world stuff. Does it like evolve as you go through the game and stuff, or is it kind of just you just go back here at the like at the end of a mission?
I will say that things change.
Things change. Okay, that
That
that that, that,
I'm there's so little to spoil in this game that I don't want to.
that makes
There are
sense.
there are going to be new abilities and new maneuvers and things that you won't expect, like the motorcycle. But
Because the motorcycle is like the big thing in like
correct.
the
That's the
reveal
big
trailer.
push. Yes, is that he. I will say it's really cool that the game eventually breaks out of just the tower. You do start experiencing different locales beyond just
Yeah, it seems like the demo.
cyberpunk dystopia
Yeah, it seems like the
city.
demo was hinting at that right at the end.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. What were like your like main complaints or like areas that you thought they could improve from the first game, and how do you think the second game addressed those?
So I briefly mentioned this to you is that I think that the changes to the control scheme work incredibly well. The way that the jump and dash buttons have been tweaked, uh, I think work really well because the first game I still play, even though I played it on PC, I still played it with a controller. So making a jump and dodge and attack and like block all the shoulder buttons works, but it's so much nicer to have some of that map to the face buttons this time. So that was a quality of life thing I really liked. I really liked giving you the shurikens um, instead of it being one of your like energy gauge
Yeah,
specials like in the first game. It's just a default thing that uses stamina. Um, and I really do love the new parry mechanic because they mix in so many more melee enemies instead of just people with guns.
the melee enemies were also such a cool like part of the first game, but like they were annoying because like it was sometimes it wasn't clear like who swung first,
Yeah.
and it was just whether you got to continue or not.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, like the addition of the parry, I think will probably facilitates those being able to be more common and more
And
interesting
I do like that
encounters.
there's a lot more verticality in this one as well because the levels are more open. So discovering secrets feels a lot more rewarding.
Looking
Like
for the secrets in the first game was really annoying. Like
yes.
they were well hidden and like annoying to get through.
Whereas this one, because they pop up on the auto map or the mini map automatically, you then start trying to search for where that entrance is. And it leads to some really cool moments of trying to get there. And then, unlike the first game, the rewards in this one benefit you as a character because you're unlocking more motherboard space, you're unlocking
Yeah.
more like currency to buy new upgrades and chips. So the first one was more like if you didn't care about like items with like lore descriptions or a different colored sword skin, there was really no point
Yeah, like
to the
because I
exploration.
remember, I like the lore stuff, but like most of the collectibles were just different swords, and I thought like default sword looked super cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't really, I didn't really want to
So,
change it.
so I do like that they've actually added some like usefulness and utility to the collectibles as well. But damn, I mean, this game just is buttery smooth. Like they somehow made it feel even better to play.
And the first game felt great.
Exactly.
Like,
Like this could have been such a lateral evolution of a sequel, but they elevated it. And it's just this team, one more level, I believe is their name. Or yeah, I'm gonna look that up now because I feel like I'm doubting myself. But you talk real quick.
so were there any like further additions that you
Yeah,
thought
one more level.
one more
Published by
level? Yeah,
504, but developed by one more level.
505. You mean?
505, yeah. 504 is my
Yeah.
area code.
Doxing yourself on our
That's
Ghostrunner
right.
stream.
NOLA Nerdcast. I can't imagine what the NOLA area code might be.
um, yeah, like the team that team like really impressed me, and like also when I was at the booth at PAX. I mean, I know it was the PR team that I was with, but like their enthusiasm and confidence in the game
Yep.
then um spoke volumes, and the first game was shockingly successful for a smaller
So
title.
proud of them.
And it also launched during a crowded period, but I'm really excited to see that they got a chance to do a sequel to Ghost Runner, because it's just one of those concepts that the second I heard it and the second I saw it and the second I played it, I'm like, why hasn't anybody done this before? Like, this is such a perfect match for this aesthetic, such a perfect match for like this style of gameplay.
Yeah.
And
Because I
I'm
mean,
really excited to jump back in when I get the chance.
like Ghost Runner really feels what Mirror's Edge Catalyst should have been.
Hmm.
Because Mirror's Edge Catalyst tried to add more combat and like open worldness to the Mirror's Edge formula because the first Mirror's Edge was so good. And Ghost Runner feels like it decided to be a spiritual like child of Mirror's Edge and just did what Catalyst was supposed to do, but did it so perfectly, like right off the bat. And we didn't have to wait for like 3 update patches for it to fix itself. Like it just was that good from the get-go. And it's really refreshing to see a small team know what they want to make and then just crush it.
Yeah, it's just one of those titles that's like so laser focused on exactly what they want to do.
Yep.
You could tell everybody was on just right on the same page, on the same wavelength, and just focusing on getting it
100%.
out and getting it polished.
And what's crazy is that small teams like this might have tried to bite off more than they could chew on a sequel and get too ambitious and like or dilute what makes them special. And that's just not the case here. And again, that alone is just refreshing to be really excited about a high profile indie sequel and have it deliver. And that's
Yeah.
what Ghost Runner 2 does. It delivers. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really high on the Ghost Runner like franchise now. And it makes me really excited about what a potential 3 could even be.
Well, that's awesome. How long did it take you to finish it?
It's slightly longer
Slightly
than
longer.
part 1,
Okay.
but, like, not by much, like, it's still gonna be, like, a 10 to 15-hour game,
Okay.
slightly more if you wanna collect everything,
Yeah.
slightly more if you're not as solid at action
Yeah.
games, but, like, at most, you're looking at, 18-ish hours,
Okay.
but
And also, we have mentioned, the game is difficult, but the first game had a number of assists and stuff that you can turn
yes,
on too. Is that still present in the sequel?
correct.
Okay. Because I just wanted to mention that for the people that, I
Yes,
personally do like this kind of challenge when it's balanced in the way that Ghost Runner is, but it still can be daunting. And so it's nice to know that they're keeping those assists in for,
correct.
players to get into this, because I mean, first person platformers can be tough for
Yeah.
a lot of people to get into, especially one that is as fast and demanding as this one.
Agreed. But that's about all we really can say about Ghost. I mean, like just play it. If this is even remotely in your wheelhouse or potentially what you might want to try, give the demo a shot, get the game a shot. Go pick up the first one. It's just very well done, very well made. If we gave scores, I would give it a Ghost Runner 2 out of 10.
That doesn't sound great when you
Oh
go
yeah, you're
by
right.
it.
I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 Sakis. And the only reason I don't give it 5 Sakis is because it left me wanting more. How dare it? How dare it? Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm Finn, and I want to thank Justin for coming out of his self-imposed content creator break to join me on this because we both love us some Ghost Runner.
Yeah, I'm happy. We didn't mention this at the beginning. We are actually recording this in the same room right now, which is
Yeah,
also something that we don't really get to do very
the-
often.
it's
So,
super fun. So this has
um,
been nice.
yeah. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk some Ghost Runner. I love me some Ghost Runner.
So please
And
enjoy that this review will be entirely overlaid with footage of me being terrible at the game. It's going to be amazing. So let's time to sign off. I'm Finn,
and I'm Justin.
and we're here with the SDGC. And remember, kindness costs nothing, and also cake versus pie.